Welcome back to the channel. What is going on with the goings on with YSL? It never stops. Yesterday, more things came out in reference to another Ex-Parte. Please hit the like button, please subscribe, definitely turn on your notification bell so when I get the drop, you get the drop. And thank you for tuning in. Let's get into it. Fani Willis made an ex-parte via an email of a troll. A troll emailed DA Love, and Fani Willis took it upon herself to answer the troll, including the judge, which makes it an ex-parte. But we're going to get straight into it. Like I said, thank you again for tuning in.
Good morning, Your
Let's
Honor.
get it.
Good morning.
I appreciate you forwarding to us the ex-parte communications you received from Madam DA Fani Willis. Given the sensitivity and the history in this case of ex-parte meetings or maybe communications, would you just please request the state? I understand probably what was behind that communications, and of course it is a boss to buck up an underling who has perhaps been attacked or maligned, but I don't believe that, and I don't think the court does either, that the court should have been copied on that communication, especially one that reads maybe more like a campaign ad with a search story in it than anyway, I just don't believe it was appropriate, and I would just ask you to please ask the state to halt any future communications ex parte they might want to have with this court. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's a shame that the court would even have to say something like that. But can you all please communicate to everybody in the DA's office to not have any sort of ex parte communications with the court? And y'all may not even know what I'm talking about because I don't think either of you was copied on that email, but Miss Love was. Miss Hilton, you were as well.
I do, Your Honor, and I don't know, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think we have a different perception of direct communication with the court, but we
But the
make
court
sure
was
that
copied on it. And it could have been an accident, but
Your Honor,
it should have been careful.
but the state did not have the initial conversation with the court. That was
No, I
a
know
community member, and it was very much also was not a direct communication with the court, but we understand the court's perspective. We understand what the court is saying.
Oh, excuse me. I just need to take issue with the fact that it wasn't a direct communication from the court. I'm sorry. Excuse me, can you hear me now? I didn't mean to act like Max Sharp. I take issue with any type of suggestion that this was not a direct communication with the court. It went from Madam DA Fani Willis to this court. It was a direct communication to this court. It was inappropriate. It was praising Georgia's RICO statutes to the court, which again was not appropriate, Your Honor.
Frankly, I think it might be a good idea to print out the email and make it a court's exhibit to this record. But I think what Ms. Hilton was just saying was that the original communication was not from the district attorney's office. The original communication was, I don't know who this person is or where in the world they are, but some member of the world, member of the public, emailing Miss Love directly, but copying several other people, the court included, because of course our email addresses are a matter of public record. And, you know, I basically ignored it and deleted it. But as you all know, because I forwarded the next communication to everybody, the elected DA, Ms. Willis, made a decision to respond and directed that response to Ms. Love, but kept everybody, including the person who had made the original email communication and the court, on her response to Miss Love, and I believe that to be ex parte, and that is the reason why, as soon as I read it, I had Ms. Persifield forward it to all counsel, because I don't think that should be going on.
I certainly appreciated that, Your Honor.
And the court really has ignored entirely the substance of the communication, because the court is not making any decisions based on whether I think the RICO statute is good or bad. That's not what judges do. The legislature enacts statutes. I apply them hopefully correctly.
And I have no
or
concern.
whether anybody thinks any attorney is doing a good or a bad job. I'm just sitting here trying to follow the law.
Yeah, and I'm not concerned about any impact on the court from that communication.
Yeah.
It's just the
Shouldn't be
communication
happening.
itself. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, Ms. Persifield, if you don't mind printing that out, and I have no idea what court exhibit number we're on, but if somebody can figure that out, we'll number it. Court's exhibit number, whatever the next one is. Do you know?
Your Honor, our numbering system is broken down by act, which is why we have the different letters. So
No, court exhibits.
I will check that, Your Honor.
We don't, Your Honor.
I mean, I don't know either, but somebody does. The court reporter, or the last court reporter, maybe. But anyway, we'll get that figured out and make that a court's exhibit. Okay.
Dear Miss Love, I have been watching your behavior for quite some time now, and I am wondering, how can you be so bad at your job? After all these years of experience, the new judge, who was trying to help you, not as much as Glanville did initially, is fed up with you finally. You are ruining your career and what is left of the reputation of the Fulton County DA's office. Please just rest this case, or you will get into so much more trouble. Maybe you are going to lose your job and will have issues in finding a new one, because your unprofessional behavior and your haphazard and unorganized ways of working are on display for everyone to see. Please, just do the right thing. You are going to lose the case anyway, because you lost the jury about 6 months ago already. And what is eventually going to come out is that young thug is innocent anyway. He is not effing Pablo Escobar, but you are acting like it. Just stop it, please, Miss Love. Kindly regards from Germany. Miss Love, please ignore this foolishness. As you know, the elected district attorney is extremely proud of you and believes you to be a huge asset to this office and our community. You have no chance of losing your job, and your service is greatly appreciated. Folks who have never tried cases will always have nasty things to say, but while they criticize from the sidelines, they fear the arena. They're not risking life and limb to keep our community safe. Let me tell you an infidelity of encouragement this morning. A good friend of mine called this weekend and said she was in an Uber and the Uber driver randomly began talking about being from Memphis and how much violence there was in Memphis. She said the Uber driver said in Memphis, they do not have the ability to do RICO. He said, I'm so proud of our DA here in Atlanta and her YSL team. They're not afraid and they're fighting for justice. I tell this random audacity to encourage you to brush your shoulders off and keep your eyes on the prize, which will always be justice. Please know that your boss gets 100 nasty messages and 100 nice messages a day. I focus on one thing every day, representing my community in a way that is fair. I'm asking for you to continue to focus on justice and ignore the haters. I'm extremely proud of you. Now go make it an amazing day. Your service, Fannie T. Willis.
The best thing to do be pull up the Dropbox link.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Mr. Sprinkle is here, Your Honor, if you wanted to.
Okay.
Just walk in.
Hi. Can you take a stand for me?
Yes.
And I wasn't going to do this right now, but when I read that, go ahead and sit down. You're sworn. You're already sworn.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're still under oath, and I'm going to recall your attention to, I think it was the last day of your testimony, but it was, there was a laptop on the witness stand, and you accessed it.
Yes.
And you actually did that without anybody asking you to, or asking the court's permission. But can you tell me what all you looked at?
Yeah, I had my supplement, that 140-page document, and I also had some of the stuff that I pulled during the case. Everything that's already been turned over in discovery, just in case I need to refresh my recollection. But primarily, it was just it was a digital version of the report that I had on the stand. That was it. So I could do word searches. So if I was asked a question, I wouldn't have to be flipping through pages and looking for things.
Okay. Was there any point in time when you accessed anything else other than that report and the files that were connected to that?
No.
Okay. Did you in any way read any communication that came in at any time from anybody?
No, I wasn't communicating with anybody. I didn't have email open or anything like that. All I was looking at was the report and the digital media, like the discs that I brought to the stand with me, that stuff that was on the discs and the stuff that was turned over in discovery. That was it.
All right. We may call you back at some point with regard to this a motion that has just been filed after lunch. Are you going to be around this afternoon? And I don't know whether you'd be needed for that or not. Haven't read it in detail, nor do we have a response from the state yet. But would you be available this afternoon if we need you?
Well, I'm just one floor up, Your Honor, in courtroom 2B. I do have a couple of cases, but I mean, the short answer to your question is I'll be in the building in the moment I can peel
and
away.
I don't know, like I said, whether you'll be needed or not. But all right. Thank you.
So it seems as if someone reported some funny business going on between the DA Love and Mr. Sprinkles. And it looks like they're saying she was emailing him while he was testifying. So I'm going to show you some footage that I caught where she was typing while he was on the stand, and he would look at his computer like he was reading what she was saying. Let's continue.
Okay. I heard you say that one of the things that interested you when you looked at that video, the text code, that you saw an infinity. You remember saying that?
Yes.
Okay. And you became interested in doing some additional research or investigation on that Infinity vehicle. You remember that?
I do, but actually, I think that if we're talking about when I decided to do certain things, I may have actually conducted additional research on the Infinity before it caught my attention on the Texaco footage. I can't remember the exact, but just to be precise, yeah, I mean, it was probably around that time, but yeah.
But one of the things that we know for a fact is that you determined that you wanted to get more information about this rental vehicle, right?
Yes, that's right.
And you did. You and or your investigator made contact with the folks at Hertz, right?
It started with me when I sent the subpoena to Hertz, and then after that, after receiving some documents from a woman named Carolyn Fry, then I asked David White to travel to the location where the vehicle was rented and speak with the staff at that location.
Okay. So let me ask you some very specific questions about any information that you gleaned about that rental vehicle. You testified earlier that one of the things you were able to determine is that the vehicle was rented in the name of Jeffrey Williams. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Right. You were not able to determine who it was that actually rented the vehicle, just that it was in the name of Jeffrey Williams. Isn't that right?
It was in the name of Jeffrey Williams, his driver's license number, and his signature. There's a signature as well.
Now, tell me the date that vehicle was rented.
From what I remember, January 7th, 2015.
All right, so that would have been 3 days before January 10th of 2015, correct?
That's right.
All right. Now, tell me, if you can, who had possession of that vehicle on January the 8th?
And I hear the voice that picks up, I say, oh, well, that corroborates that number is in fact that person's number. Or if somebody cites it on their Instagram page and says, call me on this number, that's gonna give me the probable cause that that's that number. But if it's just that it comes, it's in temporal proximity, and I think there was another issue with the retention period of the number. I don't. All I know is I didn't think I had probable cause. I never got probable cause to get the tower records.
Let's work backwards a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Let's start with this. When you sent out the request for the record that you thought was a number to Demikian Garlington.
Yes.
You requested those records specifically without tower usage logs, right?
I did.
Okay. Now, you had previously requested records for Kenneth, what you thought was Kenneth Copeland's